Swearingin, and this is TalkTech. This is Computer Magazine's purely unscripted radio talk show over the net about everything tech. There are many different ways to contact us live while we are on air via message, comment, text, voice, video, email, IRC, and more. So contact us about your technology issue and what you want to talk about, what question you might have about tech, how to repair something, a news story, whatever is fascinating you, new technology, new gadget, whatever it may be, from corporate IT to home, whatever it may be, because this is our off-the-cuff talk about your issues, your interest in tech, and meanwhile we'll throw out some Computer Magazine stories to get the ball rolling. So this is, we're doing something a little different here than our normal Computer Magazine videos, because we're going to make this a regular broadcast, and it's going to be purely unscripted, and it's mainly going to focus on you calling in, contacting us, email, IRC, message. You can any of the places. We're multi-streaming this right now to multiple locations: Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, and several others. And any of those you should be able to message us on, click and comment on it, or all the other links that are scrolling down and that are in any of our show notes. You can find them anywhere, and in fact you can just go to facebook.com/TalkTech show and you'll also find it there. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this as a regular broadcast. This is the first episode, and we're just going to unscripted talk about technology with you, to you, however it may be. So let's get started. Okay, for our first issue. Now, let me remind you, you can contact us via any of the methods that are scrolling down on the screen right now. We've got a phone number. Feel free to call it. And feel free to comment on any of the places where you are viewing this. If things are working correctly, it should actually pop up on the screen, your message. So we're going to be live testing it right now. We've done some testing, but some of these things are kind of, some of these services are kind of a little bit unreliable. But it hopefully will actually pop up on the screen if you are on YouTube. So make sure to go to our YouTube channel. That's probably the best place to view it. Wherever you're viewing it right now, go on and hop over to our YouTube channel. You can get there if you go to talktech.computermagazine.com. Now, being that this is our first show, we don't have a URL yet that's easy to remember. We do for Computer Magazine, youtube.com/Computer Magazine, but we're not broadcasting on there right now. So the easiest way to get there is to go to talktech.computermagazine.com. Now, of course, while we're live broadcasting on the right-hand side, if you're on a PC, for instance, you can message, you can type a message, and it should pop up on our screen. Also, make sure to subscribe. If you subscribe, it should pop up on our screen as well. Now, maybe that won't work. I don't know. But you still won't want to miss. And we're going to be doing this regularly. But either way, get your question to us. You can email it to talktech@computermagazine.com. You can call our phone number. It'll be scrolling on your screen here in just a moment. If you do, you'll get me live, and we can talk over your technology issue. Many different ways. Okay, let's get on with our first story. While we're waiting, it's very possible nobody's going to reach out tonight because this is our first episode, so we're just going to bring you some news in the meantime. And if you want to interrupt and talk over your issue, I'll be more than willing to pause and talk over your issue. And the more people that view this over the next few weeks, start viewing this program, well, then it'll become more about interacting with the audience and talking about you. And we can even have you on through Skype or through Google Hangouts. We can have you on live video as well if you would even like to do that, or especially for guests. And if you contact us ahead of time, we can prearrange it. If there's something product you want to talk over, if you're with a company and you want to talk over a product or service you are marketing. If there's some major technology issue you're having, we can do it that way as well. So, and again, this is all off the cuff, unlike our normal Computer Magazine videos. This is all off the cuff, so there's likely things that are going to go wrong, especially in the early stages. It's going to be a little more awkward, but as we do it, as things progress, should get a little more smooth. So actually, just give me one moment. I'm going to share this link across a couple of our Facebook locations. It should already be shared to the Facebook page automatically, which is facebook.com/TalkTech Show. And make sure to go and hit a like on there, and that way you'll be notified anytime we start broadcasting. So let's... yeah, just give me one moment here while I share that. Sorry, yeah, it's going to be a little bit awkward here in the beginning. All right. And let me just make sure that got shared out. Okay. All right. So far, first story. Google's Duplex wants to normalize bots speaking for humans. Now, this is a story that's been circulating quite a bit the past week after Google I/O, and it is the eerily crazy assistant that Google has come up with or is developing that will allow an assistant for you to make calls or make calls. Well, let's read the article and then we'll understand. You'll understand better. We'll all understand better. At Google's I/O Developer Conference this week, there was a lot of news to unpack, but the story that seems to have captured people's imagination or fueled their nightmares is Duplex, the AI that enables Google's Assistant to make phone calls for you. In a demo, Google Assistant goes back and forth in conversation with a person for about a minute to make a haircut reservation. In another demonstration, Google Assistant made a reservation at a restaurant. Despite Duplex is still an experiment, CEO Sundar Pichai explained on stage Tuesday, an experiment that will continue with user testing this summer. Despite taking up less than 2 minutes and more than 2 hours of product rollouts and upgrades, its debut may mark a noteworthy moment in the history of conversational AI and perhaps the history of communication as one of the first publicly known instances of a bot proactively working on a human's behalf in the world. The reality beyond the demo. Strangely enough, Duplex is not yet publicly available and barely 48 hours old, and there already appears to be a series of misconceptions about it. First, it's not the phone call that bothers people. It's the tone of the Duplex's voice. If Duplex had the same robotic voice we've heard for decades from automated system handling calls for banks and the like, I don't think its debut would have made as many waves. The reaction comes up because Duplex uses DeepMind's WaveNet AI for speech synthesis and natural pitch and intonation. Companies like Baidu and Microsoft are working on similar forms of conversational AI that can mimic voices or add human effects like pauses or saying or Overall, the voice you hear from Duplex seems more human than not, entering the auditory uncanny valley. Duplex evokes a response from people for the same reason certain avatars or robots can conjure strangely emotional reactions. I've had a Jibbo robot in my house for the past couple of months, and I've been really surprised by the negative feelings it brings out in people because it rotates its head to look at you when you speak and has a natural sounding voice. I'm sure people freaked out in decades past when human operators went away in exchange for automated touch-tone systems. To ease the fear and add some levity, enter John Legend. WaveNet is also being used to give Google Assistant a new voice that mimics the singer for special moments like when you say, "Okay, Google, tell me about my day." Second, despite how demo played out, in the real world, Duplex may not begin in a call with the obligatory hello or hi that would come out of a human's mouth. Duplex calls will be preceded by a message telling the human on the other end that they're on the phone with a robot. The system will also allow businesses to opt out of receiving such robocalls, a person familiar with the matter told VentureBeat. Third, Duplex may not require user involvement after they ask Google Assistant to schedule an appointment, but it's not a fully autonomous system. In instances in which the AI fails in attempts to converse with the human on the other line when making a reservation, Duplex will transfer the call to a human operator. Fourth, and most importantly, Duplex is the start of something much bigger than the phone calls. It's the beginning of an idea of an AI assistant acting on a user's behalf in the world. Someday, through a combination of WaveNet and Duplex, Google Assistant could act on your behalf while mimicking your voice. The impact of bot stand-ins. The idea might seem strange to the uninitiated, but the makers of automated bots for chat apps like Facebook Messenger or Skype have talked about this idea for years. Last year, in a story told exclusively by VentureBeat, bot platform Gupshup launched Interbot, a testing ground for training bots how to interact and interoperate with other bots. That's a scenario worth considering today, since Google may make Duplex available to both consumers and businesses, the company said in a blog post to better explain how Duplex was made. At the time, CEO Baroud Sheth said he believed Interbot to be a necessity because he envisions a day when bots will work on our behalf. Things may begin with shopping, but bots will evolve to carry consumer to business and business to business interactions. When I do comparison shopping, I check at most 2 to 3 websites, but my bot can look at 1,000 merchants and there's no problem whatsoever because the bot can handle infinite capacity, Sheth told us in April 2017. Very soon, instead of me using bots, a shopping bot can go talk to all the merchant bots and get me the best price. Bot-to-bot communication was also key to research Facebook released last year that showed bots beginning to create their own rudimentary form of communication. News of Facebook's bots speaking to each other became one of the most shared AI-related stories in 2017, and like Duplex, led to a lot of misperceptions in the public sphere. OpenAI researchers are also working on bot-to-bot communication, while Amazon and Microsoft are both attempting to make bots that are conversationalist, capable of chit-chat with humans for minutes at a time. Impacts to people and the businesses they frequent are important, but the behavioral scientist in me has questions. Are we ready for bots to speak for us? Will people who schedule appointments with bots be less likely to show up than those who make the phone calls and verbal commitment to show up? Could less person-to-person communication result in a decline in trust, as some have suggested? Are we nearing a point when a business that answers its own phone is seen as colloquial or quaint? Duplex-like services for consumers and businesses might make cancellations and rebookings easier, but will automated appointments lead to more or less economic activity? Will people mind that interaction with their local business just got less personal, even if the automated bot they're speaking with sounds like mom from your local mom and pop? The future coming this summer. Now, hold on, I'll continue on the section. Let me just make sure nobody's contacted. I'm pretty sure that's probably not the case tonight because this is a new broadcast and we probably don't have that happening. Yes, nothing's popped up on the screen. So if you subscribe, go ahead. If you happen to be watching this, go ahead and subscribe. Let's see it pop up. Now, if you do it after we're done broadcasting, well, still subscribe, of course, because you don't want to miss it. But if you want to see something pop up on the screen, now's the time to do it. Now, let me just go check the quality of the broadcast, make sure we're going out again. This is, but if you want to see something pop up. Yep. There we go. Now, in fact, I'll type something here from my other account. Let's see. Hello. Let's just see if it's going to work. Yep. There we go. Although it's a little off the screen. Let me get that working there. Yeah, you see how that's popped up now for us? So, if you type in one of the places, Twitch, wherever you might be viewing it, it should pop up on screen right there, whatever your message is, and you can actually ask a question or whatever you need just by doing that wherever you're watching the video. This I've done on YouTube. Okay, now, let's get back to it. Let's finish the story. And then we'll see if you have anything to say. And if not, we'll continue with the second story. I figure the first week or two of this is probably going to be mainly going over our standard stories that we go over with Computer Magazine. But hopefully we'll start attracting people to keep watching and start wanting to participate, interact, ask questions, and so forth. Call in, whatever it may be. Okay, so back to the story. The future coming this summer. The technology behind Duplex has been years or decades in the making, and in the days following its release, the AI has sparked important questions and conversations around the idea of AI acting on your behalf in the world, and the interesting ways this tool might be used when placed in people's hands. By the way, I'll play the video here after I'm done reading the story because it's pretty freaky. First thing I'm programming for Duplex is to answer all those scammer IRS calls and talk for about an hour, then call them back hourly pretending to be the IRS, asking them the same questions they asked me, but in Hulk voice. Oh, that's hilarious. As I mentioned earlier, there was probably a group of people who screamed about the sky falling when human operators were replaced with touch-tone operators. As uncanny as Duplex may feel today, Those goalposts can move as Google continues its experiment or as people gain trust and see the value in a tool. The day may come when calls with an AI assistant completing tasks for you is considered just as routine as calls with humans, or when people wonder how they ever got shopping done without the help of their AI assistant. We'll find out more about the actual performance of Duplex when it arrives this summer. The day when Duplex actually works could be years down the road, but this is the beginning of automated AI research reaching out into the world to work on the behalf of consumers and businesses. Yeah, so you can extrapolate. I mean, this is very interesting. You can extrapolate what this will mean 10 years from now, 20 years from now. In fact, let's watch the video and you'll have a little better idea if you're not already familiar with this.
The progress with the assistant. As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. You know, we are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60% of small businesses don't have an online booking system set up. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was a real call you just heard. The amazing thing is the assistant can actually understand the nuances of conversation. We've been working on this technology for many years. It's called Google Duplex. It brings together all our investments over the years in natural language understanding, deep learning, text-to-speech. By the way, when we are done, the assistant can give you a confirmation notification saying your appointment has been taken care of. Let me give you another example. Let's say you want to call a restaurant, but maybe it's a small restaurant which is not easily available to book online. The call actually goes a bit differently than expected. So take a listen.
See how may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people when? Today?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually we leave here for like after like 5 people. For 4 people you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
For when, tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh no, it's not too busy. You can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.
again, that was a real call. We have many of these examples where the calls quite don't go as expected, but the assistant understands the context, the nuance. It knew to ask for wait times in this case and handle the interaction gracefully. Look,
Wow, that was pretty freaky, huh? Yeah. You can extrapolate now. You see this technology. Of course, this is kind of technology that's been predicted for 20 years and, you know, longer than that in sci-fi and stuff. But now that it's actually coming to reality rather than just being a proposed theory, it's just crazy because you can always then start, once you can really bite into something being a reality, technically, you can see where it'll be 10 years from now. And just like that article was saying, you can imagine a case where nobody's really talking to anybody anymore. We see how much the phone, everybody is at their phone nowadays. Instead of interacting with humans, we're all doing it over social media, and how that's affected interacting socially and using the traditional telephone. But just think when you don't even have to make that call or anything, because your assistant can do it for you. Just like you're talking to your Amazon Echo and all that now, where you can tell it to arrange an appointment, do this or that, call your brother, your sister, whatever. I mean, boy, there's another layer there. And especially since it's becoming so seamless. I mean, just even now we can see how it is. I mean, think 10 years from now or 20 years from now, where you will not be able to distinguish. And that's also indicative of the intelligence, the AI that's underlying it, and how far that's come, which is potentially a scary thought as well, if you think that there's a Terminator future for us somewhere along the line. So let's go on with our second story. Let's see. Yeah, I thought I had it prepared. Just a moment. Okay, so this is a story that's kind of, especially on YouTube, today has kind of blown up. And, well, we'll read it and we can talk about it. How YouTube's Super Chat system is pushing video creators towards more extreme content. Now, if you're not familiar with Super Chat, we don't have that on this channel yet, because you have to have like 1,000 subscribers and you have to reach some benchmark before you can get it. But that box where you can message on YouTube, if you're watching this video on YouTube, how you can message while the video is going on live, well, you can also donate money, and it highlights the message. And then typically what happens is, if you donate some money, a lot of these people who are running big channels will then read your message specifically because you donated $5 or whatever it may be. And so they'll kind of put you to the head of the queue, and the others will still be there scrolling past, but they'll actually talk about yours. And I heard a sound. They'll talk about yours and live on air while they have maybe 1,000 viewers or 10,000 viewers. And so some people are starting to use this, and I've noticed this myself, where they'll donate $5 and they'll say something very hateful or derogatory or profane or whatever it may be. Now, we know how people are on the internet. We know how people troll. We know how people do anything for shock value because they're sitting in the relative anonymity of behind their computer or phone. somewhere across the internet, potentially on the other side of the world. So, of course, it's going to happen. I'm personally just totally against. I'm for free speech. I'm against all this nonsense of people being offended and cracking down on speech. I just, yeah, there may be a few exceptions, like calling fire in a crowded theater, and death threats, and selling of classified information, or speaking about classified information. Obviously, that's something that can bring down nations potentially. There's a few exceptions in there I would agree with. I think most people would, but beyond that, you know what? It's just words. So anyway, let's go ahead and read the article, because BuzzFeed is very left, and they're very much more for censoring speech, and I don't know. I think it's a bad trend, really. How YouTube's super chat system is pushing video creators towards more extreme content. During one live stream, someone using the screen name National Socialist spent $100 to display the message "White Pride Worldwide." In late April, the white nationalist Christopher Cantwell, commonly known as the Crying Nazi, made an appearance on a YouTube channel run by Andy Worski that boasts nearly 275,000 subscribers. Cantwell was there to talk about how he would build a whites-only country within the United States. At one point during a live stream, a user with the screen name Hitler Did Everything Right spent $5 using YouTube's paid commenting system known as Super Chats to ask Cantwell a question. They wanted to know how a hypothetical white ethno-state would deal with undocumented immigrants. Cantwell said anyone crossing the border illegally would have a fucking wood chipper waiting for them. The 2-hour live broadcast saw dozens of other super chats, with one person spending $500. Hey, I'd be happy if you guys just donated $1, by the way. And you can go to paypal.me/C Swearing, my first initial and last name. That's the best we have right now, and you could donate $1 and put a note in there, and I'll read it on air, and I sure would appreciate it, because we want to keep this going, and I need support to keep it going. Okay, but anyway, I'm not gonna do that. It's not a high pressure sales. We're doing this because we all enjoy talking about technology. Either way it goes. So let's continue. They wanted to know about a hypothetical white ethno-state would we already said that. Wood chipper waiting for that. Okay. The 2-hour live broadcast saw dozens of other super chats, one with a person spending $500. You guys should have me on more often, Cantwell said at one point. You're getting paid tonight. Prominent far-right and white nationalist figures have, for months, been helping YouTube channels earn thousands of dollars thanks to frequently racist commenters who pay for the opportunity to make their voices heard. Buzzfeed News tallied the super chat amounts from 2 recent videos featuring white nationalists Richard Spencer and Mike Enoch, and found they brought in just over $4,000, of which YouTube itself takes a cut. The company declined to say how much. I don't know either. I think it's 40% or something, but I don't know why I think that figure, if some of the big YouTubers out there would know and be able to comment what it actually is. Once you go black, you'll never get your society back. Fact, wrote a commentator who spent $5 for a super chat. Another spent 20 Danish crony, I don't know how you say it, to say this lying bagel needs his mouth stuffed. Hashtag gas kikes. And someone going by the screen name National Socialist spent $100 for the super chat White Pride Worldwide. In response to a list of live streams featuring white nationalists compiled by Buzzfeed News, YouTube said some of the super chat comments fit its definition of hate speech, and that it would revisit its policies on super chat eligibility and enforcement. Hateful content that promotes violence has no place on YouTube. We carefully reviewed the live streams that were provided by BuzzFeed and found that the content does not meet our threshold for hate speech. However, we found the comments shared in Super Chat do, said a statement from a YouTube spokesperson. They added that Super Chat is a relatively new feature. It's small but growing source of revenue for some creators, and we are re-examining our policies in light of these edge cases. The use of Super Chats to spread and monetize racism and hate speech is the latest content moderation product headache for YouTube, the internet's biggest video platform. It has also drawn fire for hosting videos that exploit children, spread extremism, feature bestiality, and spread conspiracy theories. YouTube introduced Super Chats in early 2017 as a way for video creators to engage their fans during live broadcasts and earn extra income in the process. But as is the case with just about every new engagement and monetization feature, Super Chats have been co-opted and used in ways YouTube didn't design or prepare for. And then they're showing some screenshots of what it's like, and this is how they highlight when you donate money. Now, of course, we're hoping to have the same kind of thing with the show. I mean, we're talking technology, so we don't expect this kind of horrible speech, which I don't agree with. I mean, I don't think it's to be censored, but it is disgusting, obviously, these views and these thoughts. I think any abhorrent idea, the more, in fact, I think it's better to get it out there, air out the closet, let people talk. If there's some value in what they're saying, then people will see that. And if it's kooky, like a lot of this stuff is, people will see that. Don't prevent them from seeing how kooky something is. Okay. A researcher who has been following these live streams told Buzzfeed News that Super Chats are underwriting the growth of extremist content on YouTube by generating monetary rewards for those willing to push the envelope, all while bringing fringe white nationalist views to a large new audience. When you stitch together broadcast and instant monetization, you get a behavior pattern that moves more and more towards extremes, said Joan Donovan, a researcher with Data and Society, a think tank studying the social effects of new technologies. Donovan said YouTube's moderation tools, which are well suited for detecting things like nudity, are insufficient for monitoring hours-long live streams and the accompanying live chats. The power of Super Chats is most visible in the growth of a series of live debates dubbed Internet Blood Sports. Many of the most contentious debates have been hosted by Worski, a self-described comedian or pro-Trump internet troll. Tim Guyanet, better known as Baked Alaska. Baked Alaska, yes, I've heard of him. Worski initially agreed to speak to Buzzfeed News, but then broke off contact. He did, however, talk on a live stream about whether he should do the interview and mused about broadcasting it without the reporter's knowledge. Guyanet, who years ago was briefly employed by BuzzFeed, did not reply to an interview request. While theoretically open to all viewpoints, the participants in the live streams overwhelmingly come from the political right and far right, including some of the most prominent white nationalists in the U.S. The resulting conversations inevitably focus on topics such as race, science, white identity, and the so-called Jewish question, and generate thousands of dollars for the channels hosting them. One particularly successful debate took place in January on Worski Live. It featured Richard Spencer and two conservative-leaning YouTubers arguing the merits of white ethno-nationalism. It became #1 trending video on the entire site and has been viewed almost 500,000 times. It was also lucrative. The Spencer debate brought in more than $2,200 in Super Chats for Worski's channel, according to a review by Buzzfeed News. Another debate featuring Mike Enoch, the host of neo-Nazi podcast The Daily Shoah, focused on whether Jews are undermining America through control of the media and government. It generated more than 1,800 in Super Chats, including the comment, "Sometimes I hate Jews so much that I cannot sleep." In addition to Spencer, Enoch, and Cantwell, many other prominent white nationalists have been featured on Bloodsport's live streams over the past several months. They include Jared Taylor, the founder of white supremacist magazine American Renaissance, Andrew Anglin, the founder of neo-Nazi website Daily Stormer, Colin Robertson, a Scottish white nationalist YouTuber better known as Millennial Woes, who has spoken at white nationalist events, and Greg Johnson, editor of the white nationalist website Countercurrents. I've never heard of any of these. Many of the debates on Worski Live also include Jean-Francois Garape, a Quebec based white nationalists as Worski's co-moderator. While some live streams are debates, others can be lengthy interviews or simply gab sessions with several streamers hopping in and out of the hours-long conversation as they like. Several YouTube channels post multiple live streams per week with super chats pouring in from viewers who want to interject their own opinions, reward streamers, or simply have a bigoted remark read aloud by the host. A common donation is $14.88, a reference to white nationalist slogan. Oh, okay. The blood sports discussions are spread even further by other YouTube channels devoted to clipping the most dramatic moments, as well as dedicated websites and Twitter accounts. The various personalities and shows also have large engaged communities trading gossip and memes on Discord. Oh, we have a Discord, and I'm going to give you the link here in a minute. In fact, it should be scrolling down below. So get on our Discord so we can talk tech, and that way you can voice chat us. Okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted this. The various personalities and shows also have large engaged communities trading gossip and memes on Discord, a messaging platform popular with the far right. Some of this stuff I don't really agree with. Now, some of those people are definitely far right from what I've heard, some of them that I've heard of, and are pretty extreme in their views, let's say. But I also don't see a problem with any of it. Let people talk. So what? You know, what's the option? To censor everybody? It's gone crazy already with that kind of thing. So, you know what? Let bad ideas get out there. Let good ideas get out there. While other streaming services like Twitch also have paid commenting system, YouTube's unparalleled size and reach risk creating a feedback loop of more extreme content generating more revenue, which in turn fuels more outrageous videos. This was predicted by some people almost immediately after super chats were introduced, with one Verge writer comparing it to the business model of cam-girl porn performances. Yeah, I guess in a way, yeah, it is kind of like that, I guess. I don't know. When you pay to have another person perform your twisted little fantasies, the end result is usually a loss of dignity on all sides. Vlad Zvabov wrote in March 2017. Hold on, let me check and just make sure that we haven't had anything come up. And no. The ecosystem that has sprung up around these live streams merges the performative interpersonal drama of professional wrestling with the sensibilities of talk radio and the racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-gay vocabulary of 4chan, and its value is not lost on white nationalists. A writer for Countercurrents recently celebrated the blood sports debates for pushing the Overton window, the range of political views seen as acceptable in public discourse further to the right. White nationalists have successfully colonized a small corner of YouTube and have encountered normies. We find ourselves battling stubborn civic nationalists and slippery libertarians as we push inland towards lush parts of the internet outside our echo chamber, wrote the author. All of a sudden, liberals and libertarians are talking about race, realism, ethno-states. Some YouTubers have even applied the blood sports formula to real-life interactions. In March, Worski and Guionet joined another live streamer known as Asian Andy for IRL blood sports. The three live streamed their journey around Los Angeles, equipped with speakers, and blasted out text-to-speech comments from viewers who donated $5 or more. It took mere minutes for the first N-word to be broadcast. YouTube told Buzzfeed News its community guidelines against hate speech, harassment, and other prohibited content apply to chats as well as videos, and that viewers can flag inappropriate comments. Channel owners have the ability to bring in extra chat moderators, ban specific words and phrases, and turn chats off entirely. The company has pointed to a February announcement that it is taking a harder line on content that brings harm to the broader YouTube community. Donovan, the researcher with Data and Society, said the regularity of hateful comments can have the long-term effect of normalization. I think they meant normalizing those views. She said that what may start as very lulzy, jokey, trolly way to get laughs can stop people being funny and start becoming part of your own value system through repetition. We are finally starting to understand that it's not always about the seriousness of the ideology or the seriousness with which people take these ideas, she said. The more people get exposed to these ideas and have very little pushback on those ideas, they start to believe through the community that they form that these are acceptable and appropriate ideas to have. Well, okay. So that last part was what I utterly disagree with what they're implying. They're implying that people shouldn't be exposed to these ideas. Now, granted, a lot of this stuff is far right, kooky, if not kooky, if not racist, whatever. But people should absolutely be exposed to it. This trying to insulate people from ideas, from information, is insane. If it's a bad idea, let people hear it. Like the guy on the corner saying the world's going to end tomorrow and screaming, and some homeless guy screaming the world's going to... Let people hear it. Let people see it's insane. Don't try to insulate them from it because you think, therefore, you're going to prevent them from hearing it. That just makes people want to hear it more. You cannot stop. You cannot censor. Censorship backfires. And not only that, it's freedom of speech, freedom to express ourselves. Other than a few exceptions, potentially, that I discussed, what they're trying to really imply is that somehow YouTube should prevent this from happening, that they should gauge what people's ideas are, ideology, what way they lean, and censor them or shut down their channels or whatever. And that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Let people talk. So what are your thoughts? Let me know. By the way, so you will see scrolling here our Discord, discord.gg/NPYFCKR. Well, that's not good. That's a random thing they come up with. But by the way, you can get to that Discord by going to discord.computermagazine.com. If you put it in a browser, it'll take you there. It's the easier way. It just goes to that link. But if you have the Discord app, then you'll need to type that in directly. These links are also down in the comments and everywhere else you can find on the computer. It's the same Discord we use for Computer Magazine, the same server. So you can find it on the Computer Magazine page or the TalkTech show page, anywhere. So, well, I was hoping we'd have at least one person comment tonight, but then again, I didn't expect it at all. This is a brand new broadcast, vlog, whatever you want to call it, on technology, and nobody knows about it. We have not promoted it, nothing. So it's going to take some time to build some steam, but we're going to keep doing it, and we'll be back soon. So I think that will be all for tonight. Again, this is going to be our ad hoc live stream. We will do it regularly, potentially every day. We will start to get into a schedule, and we'll let you know what that schedule is going to be once we iron out some of the initial phases of this. But for now, I can just say it'll be regular. And I've talked too much today. And the more we have people finding the channel and interacting, messaging and all, then the longer the show the live stream will go on on the days that we do it, which will hopefully be every day or most days. So anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure to go to the Facebook page and like it. That way you'll be notified. Facebook.com/TalkTech show. And you'll see it scrolling by here. And also follow on Twitter, same thing. And make sure to subscribe to our Twitch and subscribe to our YouTube, especially. As I've already said, it's talktech.computermagazine.com will take you to the YouTube. Hit subscribe, and then you'll always be notified. So anyway, that's all for today. Thank you. We love talking tech. Visit Computer Magazine. We will be back soon.